recorded live right here in Little Rock, Arkansas. It's Larry's Rants, Raves, and Reviews. And now here is Larry.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the show. And before we get right into the show, I want to wish my beautiful bride, my wife, a happy birthday. Today's her birthday.
Of course.
And we're going to record this podcast, and then we've got reservations over at Cypress Social tonight for dinner.
Yeah. Hey, we're going to do a review over there. Can we do a review?
Why not? Let's do it.
We never have done one in the restaurant with our iPhone right there.
Okay.
Let's do a segment, and I'll see if we can put it on next week.
Okay, we'll do that.
I might can do it this week.
Okay.
Because we edit now. I mean, we record now, and then we go and record there, and I'll throw it in.
Okay.
So you want to go ahead and pitch to the...
You're the editor.
Let's go ahead and pitch to the review right now.
There it is. Okay, so we promised you a review. So we're here at Cypress Social, and Randy and I both got the ribeye. We ordered them a Pittsburgh medium rare, and they are cooked to perfection, and they are as tender as you can cut it with a fork. It is awesome. Birthday. So this is our birthday girl over here. Carol, happy birthday.
Thank you. I got the salmon.
And Donna.
What'd you get?
I got the salmon. It's very good.
This is Donna.
Hi.
We talk about them a lot.
Filet. Awesome.
So Randy, let me have the camera and I'll turn it and let you talk.
Okay, I got the ribeye, medium rare, with a little bit of sear, and it's cooked to perfection. And this doesn't happen very often. But at this restaurant, so Cypress Social right here in Maumelle, it was cooked to perfection. I'm still eating on it. We got these Brussels sprouts they just delivered. So it's one of the best steaks I've had in a long time, and I know steaks. So very happy. Give it a thumbs up. Come Cypress Social and tell them that you heard us on Larry's Rant, Raves, and Reviews, and see what that does.
And if you want some guests, Randy and I'll come with you.
Yeah, if you need some guests to come, just call us and email Larry, and we'll come with you. Okay? Very good.
So we're back, and Saturday night we went down to Taylor's Steakhouse. We went down there with the Morelands down in Dumas, and I told the owner, Chuck and Pam Taylor, I said, Ben, this has got to be I think it's the best steak in Arkansas right now. They dry age those steaks.
They dry age them, and they are very, very good. It takes a while to get down there.
Yeah, take about an hour and a half. It's out in the country. You'd never believe that nice of a steak place is somewhere, but you know. I call
it's in the middle of nowhere, and it's really in the middle of nowhere.
And it's worth every minute to drive, folks. And I'll tell you, it's Taylor's in Dumas, Arkansas, and go to their website. I've been to their website, and Chuck and Pam actually did a video that I thought was very entertaining and very informative of how the steak place even started.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And such nice, wonderful people. And if I'm not mistaken, Chuck cooks every steak.
Really?
Yeah, he doesn't he lets people help him.
Yeah.
But he doesn't just walk away. You know, that one time that we were there, the first time, he came out and said hello.
Yeah.
But he rushed right back because he didn't want to be away from that steak very long. So go in Larry, and say hi.
I dry age my own beef.
I know you do.
Those steaks are. I would put them right up there with it.
Oh yeah, you know. Anytime I say it's the best in Arkansas, you know that is basically restaurant quality. Okay, not ours. Okay.
Because say I do mine over charcoal grill with mesquite wood, all that stuff.
Well, you know, it is Carol's birthday, and I went shopping for her. I bought her a nice outfit. I took her to the I went and got her a surprise. I haven't given it to her quite yet, but I bought her a dress, kind of like Kanye West's wife showed up at the. Did you see that, Randy?
No.
You didn't?
No, maybe I did.
Oh my gosh. His wife and him showed up to the Grammys. Now, they weren't officially invited, but she had on a fur coat, took the fur coat off, and was completely nude, and all she had on was a see-through
Are you
dress.
serious?
No, I'm as serious as a heart attack.
I didn't see it.
They actually threw her out.
Really?
Yeah, and then a few days later, I guess he took her shopping because it was a video that people were watching in the mall. Took her shopping, and she had on this, let's call it a bikini top. It was basically like shoestrings, like you'd put in tennis shoes.
Yeah.
And had a little patch, let's say the size of a silver dollar.
Okay.
And that was it.
Well, we won't put that on the show here.
No, it won't be on. It
Not
won't
on
be on
this
the
show.
But I mean, someone I just got to say,
YouTube would surely kick us off.
I didn't know if you'd seen that or not, but man, that is something that I would have to honestly say that someone needs to investigate that. It's one thing for you to want to live at a nudist colony or something, but to run around in public like that. But here's what I would honestly say. I think there might be something really there to uncover. I don't know if she's like a sex slave that maybe I'm sure that he's the one making her do it.
Yeah.
But man, the only thing that's missing is a dog collar and a chain,
It doesn't sound like there's much more to uncover.
Well, all right, we'll leave that one right there, folks. But hey, I do have some mail that
We have
that came
mail?
to us. We got mail, Matter of fact, this young lady from Little Rock, her name is Leah, and she actually sent Carol a private message and said, "Is Larry's podcast not on Amazon anymore?" She had looked and looked for it, and then I said, "Well, I'll check into it. I'll get a hold of the webmaster." I didn't know that Amazon had,
I didn't think we were on Amazon.
Well, we're on the
Can we
index,
sell
and it goes everywhere.
Did they buy it? Did they buy it?
No, they get it. If we get so many people subscribing, then I guess we'll get paid eventually.
Hey, I think didn't we get another 1 or 2 subscribers?
I think, yeah. Well, no, we got several more on
70
YouTube.
something
yeah,
or something.
I think we're up to
76.
72, a whopping 72.
We need to get up to 100 by the end of the month.
Yeah, let's do it, folks.
Like and subscribe and let's help get us up to our 100. Our
Come
first
to
100.
find out, Leah said she got a new phone and she had to download her.
Sorry,
oh,
that's
Randy.
fine. Let me. That's another spam call.
It's another spam. Let's not have another one of those. But she said, "Hey, it was my new phone. I had to download the app, and I found him again." But she did say that this is my go-to podcast. So thank you for that shout out.
That great.
Yeah,
Thanks,
so
Leah.
thank you. And got another one that said, "It's a pleasure to have you in our shop the other day. I was shopping in McKinney, Texas.
McKinney, yeah, been there.
And I gave the guy our card, and he said, "Yeah, I'll go listen to it," and he did. And so a shout out to him. And then episode 25, Daddy's Home. Wayne, I don't know where they're from, but very cool, he said. Here's one, episode 21, back to the Martha Cawthron story. Said, "What a great teaching moment. Thank you." And she's a new subscriber.
Excellent
and
show.
really liked it.
Go back and watch that. Excellent show.
It really, really was. And then episode 27, our last one about the sanctuary state and city, no more money. Well, A.D. Peterson says, whoever that is, and I don't know where he's from, but everybody's, in charge of their own opinion. It says, "My word, y'all had all your test handed back face down, didn't you?" I think he's trying
What
to
does
say.
he mean there?
Well, I think he's trying to imply that we're kind of dumb. When you get a bad grade, your teacher lays the grade face down. So, well, we may ride the short bus, AD, but keep on listening. And here's what I can tell you: you're at the podcast where we may not always be right, but we think we are anyway. So,
well, when you got a direct line to the White House that we get every day and get updates, then we can't be too wrong. And we have such a big research department
There
to
you
vet
go.
all of our material.
Absolutely.
That, we've got to be real close to being 100% right.
I don't mind a little. No, he could have been just being tongue in cheek about the whole thing. I don't know. He may like us, but I replied back and said, "Hey, like and subscribe."
Yeah, that's the way. That is it.
Well,
So
welcome back,
what is it
everybody. We're going to entitle this show "America, Are You Tired of Winning?" And I think a subtitle would be fitting of "Are You Tired of Being Right?" Because I think we're right more times than we're not.
I know I'm right.
Well, I think we are too. I know you are. So,
Randy, right.
all right, let's get started in this mess. For the last 4 years, America went without an actual elected president.
Right. Oh, definitely.
Sleepy Joe was too mentally gone. He was too sleepy to perform his duties. He relied on Hussein and Soros that installed him just so that he could ruin the country. I got to tell you, crisis after crisis we saw happen, and there was no response. Mm-hmm. And Randy, I think this was by design, basically to destroy our country and to lend a hand to the communist regime that had taken over.
Absolutely.
And I think that's why he was there. And, we went from that to a President Trump, who was greatly elected. And the man absolutely has performed fabulously. And I think that's possibly what we want to talk about tonight.
He's done more in, 3 weeks than Biden has done in 4 years.
I think he probably did more the night of his inauguration by sitting there, signing all of those executive orders than Biden ever did, to benefit the country.
Yeah. Well, Biden did do a lot. It was just not the right way.
Oh, absolutely. It was the wrong stuff.
He did a lot of stuff, but it was not the right.
And I think that Trump realized that, and that's why he spent late into the night signing all those executive orders to get rid of the corrupt legacy. And then he, the next day, started firing the deep state officials that's been holding our country hostage.
Right.
So I think that everything's going great. Then he unleashed Elon Musk with DOGE and started uncovering all of the bad stuff. Oh my gosh!
You got any notes on that? I mean, it's terrible.
Oh, it's horrible.
20 million for whatever the monkeys and whatever.
Yeah. Yeah, we're going to get deep into some of that here in just a little bit. But before we do, I found this, and I don't know if you saw it or not, but I think it's pretty interesting. Joe Biden is ready to make some Hollywood deals. He signs with CAA. Now, that stands for Century City-Based Mega Agency. So let me read you this, okay? President Biden is one of America's most respected and influential voices in national and global affairs, said Richard Lovett, co-chairman of CAA. His lifelong commitment to public service is one of unity, optimism, dignity, and possibility. We are profoundly honored to partner with him again.
So,
who is this guy talking about?
What's he going to do? He's going to do a movie?
No, he's going to go around and give speeches. All of them get all these bazillions of dollars after they were president. Yeah. And corporations will invite him in to give speeches and all. Do you think that Biden can actually do this?
Well, if he does, I know he won't take questions after.
Well, I can't wait to buy a ticket to that one, folks. I mean, this is just crazy. All right, well, let's move into this. Here's one. Tim Burchett, a Republican from Tennessee, says that there is $40 million per week in American tax dollars that's still going to the Taliban every week, despite a current freeze on foreign aid. Trump said, hey, no more spending, freeze it all.
Yep.
And what are they doing?
It's still going out.
They're not listening to him, and they're spending it anyway. Mm-hmm. Now, I'm going to keep reminding everybody during this show, this is our tax dollars, folks. This is our tax dollars.
Right.
This isn't the government money. This is our money. So despite the Taliban taking over the country after we pulled out in such a horrible way, the Taliban took it over. We kept sending all these millions of dollars to the Taliban, and they're in control of it.
Right.
Randy, why would our tax dollars do this?
It's been a mess. It has been an absolute mess.
So we left billions of dollars over in Afghanistan with the pullout.
Absolutely, all the equipment, all that.
And then we're
It was terrible.
now we're sending them all these millions of dollars a week. A week, folks. Are you not tired of paying taxes? It's unbelievable to me. You know, one report said that the admin of Biden, made improper payments totaling $236 billion just in 2023.
Okay.
Okay, 2023. It said $236 billion to improper payments through 71 federal programs. Mm-hmm. Now, Musk has come in and uncovered all of this, and Musk actually said he believes that we could balance the budget if all we did was take out all of the fraudulent payments that our government is doing to everybody.
Oh, absolutely. I bet we could.
The deficit in 2024, it was $1.8 trillion. Now, you got to remember things like, you know, Biden threatened to withhold $1 billion of the USAID loan guarantee unless Ukraine fired the prosecutor who is investigating his son's company. Remember that mess?
Yes.
You know, so at the heart of the war on Ukraine and Russia was USAID.
Right.
All that money that was going over there. Biden paid $5 billion to unnamed foreign resources. They don't even know where it went. When we say this thing is more corrupt than we thought it was, I thought it was pretty corrupt, Randy.
Well, it was all about the fall.
My
I'm glad he got in
goodness.
there, and now he's trying to put it all back together.
Oh,
he's got a job.
This is horrible.
And
Horrible.
Elon is the guy to do it with his team. You know, Elon is autistic, and his brain thinks a little different.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, he is.
Huh.
And those guys, their brain thinks a little different. That's why he thinks so far outside the box.
Okay.
So that's one reason.
Okay.
But I mean, their brain just spins, and
Wow.
he can get into that faster and quicker than anybody.
Now, have you noticed that all the liberal communists that's up there in Washington are just screaming and fighting and ranting and raving about stuff? Now, these are the same Democrats, the same communists, okay?
Did you see Maxine Waters?
Oh, yeah.
And those guys trying to get into the Department of
Yeah,
Education.
yeah.
And you know, the guy that was stopping them, he was just standing there, stole, cone face.
Yeah,
I saw a TikTok come through there and said he's been nominated Employee of the Week.
Well, I would have been... Well, I can tell you this much. I'd have been texting saying, I need a raise. I would have demanded a raise.
He did great. It was like candid camera. He was like...
She was sitting there screaming, we are at war. We are at war.
We're going to take it to the street. Take it to
Really?
the street.
Well, these are the same crazy people. I don't know if you knew this or not. I just found out about it. But these are the same folks that China was given remote access to all of the Treasury workstations back in December.
Oh, my.
Can you believe that?
Yeah.
I mean, seriously. I believe a lot of strange stuff about this corrupt government that we've got.
They probably were doing a lot of stuff all the way up until January or February 20th when he was it February when he January 20th when he took office.
Right.
They were probably pulling as many triggers as they could.
Oh, you know it. They were shoving money out the door left and right, paying anybody and everybody. So, well, hey, let's take a commercial break and we'll come back with some more stuff. Okay.
Okay. All right.
Bobby's Country Cooking. It's like Sunday after church at Grandma's, except it's Monday through Friday, 10:30 till 2. Home-style cooking with generous portions, entrees, sides, and desserts to die for. Dine in or get it to go. We're in the West Chase Plaza at the corner of Shackelford and Markham. Bobby's Country Cooking.
Well, did you see where...
Larry,
What?
You forgot one thing that's new on the show.
What's that?
Our new TV.
Oh, yeah.
Look at this. Look how big it is.
I know it.
We put that up the other night, and it really shines.
It
now.
really does look good.
You
I
know,
can't wait to actually watch this on
I
video.
can't
or
wait until
something.
we have our first live
Yeah.
person up there, and we're
Yeah.
talking to them, just like Channel 4 and 7 and all them do.
Wow.
we'll be right up there with them.
Except we'll be telling the truth.
Yeah, well, sure, of course, of course. All right,
I just offended all of our friends at Channel 4. Huh?
I know. Go ahead.
Did you see where DOGE uncovered that USAID funneled $84 million in the Haiti relief funds to Chelsea Clinton?
Yeah, I saw that.
Did you see that $3 million went to her wedding?
Yeah,
Okay. $10 million
Now,
of
how'd
it
they-
bought her
how-
a luxury mansion.
I saw that. How? I mean, did she get pardoned?
No. Did Hillary? I can't remember it. Was Hillary part of the pardons?
I don't think she was.
Well, let's go after
I
them.
know it. Somebody's got to go to jail.
Over $4 billion was actually given to Haiti, well, supposed to be given to Haiti in
Right.
donations, and Haiti got 2% of it. 2%. The rest of it went to the Clinton Foundation.
yeah.
Now, not only did they steal
Poor
the
Chelsea
money,
got the money from Haiti.
yeah,
Poor Chelsea.
but not only did they steal the money, but children were taken from orphanages to work as sex slaves.
Well,
So here we go. Hey, here's something that you'll be interested in. Follow the money works again.
we were saying that on the first show.
Oh, we were.
and
that's
guess
why-
what? And guess what they're doing now?
I
They're
keep
following
saying
the money.
we are right.
That's it.
We are right.
When you got a key to the White House, and a direct line to it, you got inside information there.
Yeah. Now remember the nasty bishop who just lambasted Trump during the breakfast prayer meeting thing,
Yes.
Yeah. Well, it just so happens that now DOGE has uncovered that she took $53 million in taxpayers' money.
Of course she did.
Okay? $53 million. It says, and this was what she did to Trump, okay? I can't believe it. It says, in the name of our God, I ask you to have mercy upon the people in our country who are scared now. There are gay, lesbian, and transgender children in both Democrat, Republican, and independent families who fear for their lives. Then she goes on about illegals, and I think that her statements here were so dehumanizing. I thought they were so horrendous for her to say this: the people who pick our crops. So in other words, she's saying that illegals, they only have the mentality and the capability of picking crops. I mean, how degrading can this woman, and I use that term loosely, actually speak? She says, pick our crops and clean our office buildings, who labor in poultry farms and meatpacking plants, who wash the dishes after we eat in restaurants and work the night shifts in hospitals.
Huh.
How horrendous is this woman?
Yeah.
Again, used loosely. They may not be citizens or have the proper documentation, but the vast majority of immigrants are not criminals. They pay taxes and good neighbors. Now, the reason she's talking this way is because that she was funneling $53 million to her charity, to her church. Here's one, Pastor Lorenzo Sewell, who led a prayer at President Trump's inauguration ceremony. He said, she's the worst preacher I've ever heard in my life.
My goodness.
Well, thank God for him.
Yeah, really.
Thank God for having guts enough to actually say something.
Say it.
Sounds to me like you ought to be on our podcast. Okay, now, Randy, we're real happy about all this DOGE stuff, right?
Absolutely.
Okay. Now, I'm going to give you a big question. Okay?
Okay.
We have 435 representatives. We have 100 senators.
Right.
Why did it take 2 unpaid billionaires to discover all of this mess for we the people?
Well, Trump appointed them. It took Trump to get in to get them to do it.
So we're not being represented in any way, shape, or form by our representatives and our senators All of this is going on. And, a lot of this was going on during Trump's first term, and they said they kept it hid from him because they was afraid of him finding out.
Well, when we had the questionnaire about the 5 things you'd do if you were president, I said fire everybody and
Absolutely.
start over.
I agreed totally
of course,
with it.
if you could have fired the congressmen and the senators, go ahead. But you couldn't, but I would have, and it probably wouldn't have happened, but that was one of the things I want. Start over.
So again, the question is, if we've got 435 representatives and 100 senators that are there for us,
where are they been?
We the people.
Why did they say something?
Well, you and I both know. Because a lot of this money was going right into their pocket. They're becoming multimillionaires on the backs of us.
Follow the money.
Follow the money.
Well, you can look. All you got to do is look at their net worth before they became a politician and the net worth of what they're worth now.
Yeah.
That tells you what they are.
Every podcast, I intend to say this until the day I drop dead and I don't have one anymore. Can anyone say with me, term limits?
Yeah.
If we had term limits, Randy, we wouldn't have this mess.
Trump is pushing it.
I hope to God he does, because I'm still the one preaching for 2 terms, 4-year terms, and that's it.
Mm-hmm.
Get out. Get it done and get out.
Right.
Ron Paul said, a look behind the curtain has revealed a horrific truth. Nearly the entire mainstream media worldwide has been funded by the U.S. government under the USAID. From the BBC to the New York Times to Politico. In fact, he went on to say, at this point, it might be easier to find out who USAID has not funded in the media sphere. Okay?
Also, who was employed at USAID.
Yeah.
I mean, I've seen a lot of those videos out.
Yeah.
People that have lost their job for, having a study done on if the wheel turns, if it's round.
Yeah.
They got all that money.
Right.
Or if monkeys eat bananas. They did those studies. And I mean, the list goes on, and they were in charge of those studies. And now they've lost their jobs.
Well, here, let me...
I wish I had that job. I could tell you if a wheel was round, it'd roll.
Yeah. Well, the government spent $44 million on Politico subscriptions since 2017. Okay? There's $32.3 million in spending from inside the White House and $11.9 million from staffers in the House of Representatives, and virtually all of this money is going to subscription fees for Politico. Can you believe that?
Yeah.
Well, now here's one. Now you might like this because I need to probably go back and reply to this. I was setting and actually studying for this podcast, all right? Folks, it may not seem like I put a lot of work in this, but
you're probably our only research and development in this whole thing.
Yeah, that's true.
He was supposed to send me notes. I didn't get them.
Yeah, well, you don't read them when I send them. But here's something I think you will love, okay? I got an email as I was sitting there studying. I went beep, and I went over and looked at my email.
Yes.
It's an email from USAID Donation Funds.
Want money?
It says, hello, please be informed that you have been selected for a grant of $2 million from the United States Agency for International Development. Funds will be released within the next 24 hours. So our podcast is going to have a new budget.
Let's do it.
Show us the money, baby.
How do we apply?
I don't think we have to apply. Surely that's not a scam. I think they're just going to send it to us.
Hey, I know how we can get it. Let's roll that chariot video. If you know what that means, send us a text.
Yeah.
Roll that chariot video.
Show them horses. Now, I got to tell you that the deep state's massive payroll for media puppets, it goes further than just Politico. Now, did you know, boy, I've done a lot of research. This is driving me nuts. Did you know that USAID funded 6,200 journalists and 707 news outlets in 30 different countries?
Of course.
Now, we know, we've always said, fake news.
Why?
Okay.
Why do you think they reported the news the way they do?
We've been lied to. We thought that these were independent news sources, but we've been lied to.
No.
They're not. Politico got $34.3 million. Associated Press got $19.5. Guess what? The New York Times got $50 million.
Mm-hmm. Larry, in communists, in the true communist countries like Russia and all that, you know who owns the media?
The government.
It's the government.
Sure.
And they don't make no bones about it.
No.
It's owned by us, and
Absolutely.
we control what we. I mean, it's the same thing.
Yeah.
It's just they don't tell us what they were doing. It's the same thing.
And people get upset when I say we live in a communist government or a communist country.
Right.
Okay. I mean, BBC got $3.3 million, and then they got $20 million from Bill Gates.
I wouldn't doubt it.
Yeah. Now, see, this isn't really government waste. This is corruption. The Democrats aren't incompetent. They're thieves. Now, to go back to my question, why did it take two unpaid billionaires to uncover this? Is because all of these communists are sitting here getting kickbacks. Every dollar that goes overseas, a lot of that is coming right back. And it's going to our politicians.
Right.
Joe Reagan on his podcast said they gave $27 million to the George Soros Prosecutor Fund. So our government is funding the left-wing lunatic who's hiring the most insane prosecutors who are letting people out of jail who commit violent crimes. And yet we, the people, are paying for it, Randy. It's our tax dollars.
Yeah, I know it.
This Lawida, I think that's her name, she's the crooked AG that went after Trump.
Yes, yes.
Okay, in New York? Okay.
Yeah.
That's one of Soros's puppets, okay? He paid for her, got her in office, okay? Her net worth is $15 million. Her annual income is $4 million. She has other income that is $3.9 million. She has a stock portfolio of $2.6 million, and yet her salary as the AG is $103,375 a year.
Somebody needs to investigate that.
Oh, you think?
I would.
Well, don't you think? I got to tell you, George Soros has to be stopped. Now, remember when during the election we uncovered and we reported here on our podcast that Joe Biden went to the FCC and got approval so that George Soros could buy a bunch of radio stations. Remember that?
I remember that.
Okay.
We did a show on it.
There we go. Now, the FCC opens up the investigation because these very stations are broadcasting the locations of undercover ICE agents. Did you hear about that?
No, I hadn't heard that one.
Yep.
First I heard of that.
The ICE agents were reportedly operating in response to violent gang activity. And on January 26th, KCBS Radio Weekend News, a guy by the name of Steve Scott, he works for the George Soros radio station. He illegally released the whereabouts of the ICE vehicles over the radio to obstruct justice. Now, that is what Joe Biden helped him to do. Releasing it.
Yeah.
Okay? Folks, this is more corrupt than what we thought.
It gets deeper as it goes.
It really does. Can you believe what we're going to be like in 4 years?
Hopefully cleaned up a little bit.
Well, I would hope so. And now we find out that Minneapolis is asking the federal government for $55 million to repair their city. I'm just going to tell you, I say they don't get any money. the BLM. Call the Antifa. They're the ones that tore it up.
Right.
You broke it. You ought to fix it. Now, remember my wild, crazy statement last show that I said no more money. We should not bail out any of the sanctuary states and sanctuary cities.
The banks are closed.
I sound like a wild, crazy guy when I make those kind of statements, but apparently Pam Bondi is listening to our podcast.
Oh, yeah.
She's a fan of ours.
I know she is.
On
She's
her,
gotta be.
on her first day, what did she do? She said, we're shutting her down. No more. She actually said we're not going to give any more money to sanctuary cities and sanctuary states. Randy, that covers 220 cities in America.
My goodness. They're going to be hurting.
Can you imagine the millions of dollars that we're going to save by not bailing them out?
Right.
I say don't give them a dime. Okay. Now, you brought this up a minute ago. The Department of Education, they used $1.2 million of our tax money to fund an LGBTQIA Pride Center at San Diego community colleges. To make matters worse, okay, not only did we dig there, but we dug a little deeper. To make matters worse, it appears that they used some sort of disaster fund to do this. So in other words, our taxes has been used as a slush fund. Now, what's America being sold? Well, as you brought up just a moment ago, they're standing out front of the Department of Education, whining and crying, don't shut it down, don't do this, don't do that. This was no more than a photo op for the Democrats.
Sure.
It was no more than a photo op.
Absolutely.
Before we go to another break here, let me get just two more quick real things here. Illinois passes a bill to change the identity of violent illegal aliens to hide them from ICE. Well, if you're from that state, I hope that you're happy. Here's one. The Democratic Party in Michigan calls for hanging Trump supporters by the neck until dead who are trying to make Donald Trump king. Can you believe that?
Wow.
I mean, folks, it's out there. We just try to do a lot of homework and things.
I just hope they protect him.
Oh, God, me too.
That's
every day I think.
Yeah.
When he went to the Super Bowl on Sunday,
I saw it. Yeah.
Man, I puckered up. I'm like, oh, my God, what is he doing? Why is he there? Someone's going to take him out.
Of course, it was the best part of the game.
Well, I don't know. I didn't watch it, but that's what I'm heard. Man, everybody was coming through the line. There were people going, man, did you watch the game? I said, no, I don't watch the game. Oh, my God. They were singing the blues. They were crying.
Yeah, it was pretty bad.
Now, I'm going to share this because I want to make myself look a little better. I call these people communist, and I use that term. I throw it around like, whatever. But Elon Musk actually called Mayor Karen Bass a communist.
Okay.
He said the mayor of L.A. is going full communist. And the reason he said that is because she's hired a guy here, Steve Soboroff, and named him the recovery czar for the fires in L.A. He's going to be paid $500,000 over the next 3 months.
Oh, my goodness.
As a consultant. Now, folks, we covered part of this in our last show, but that is all of those tax dollars are going to this guy. Now, God only knows how much she's getting kicked back on that, right?
Uh-huh.
But I figured, hey, I call him a communist, but Elon Musk, well, he just jumped in and said the same exact thing.
Wow.
So anyway.
My goodness.
Well,
Elon's a fan of ours too, I guess.
Well, I guess he is.
He probably saw that. He probably saw you and said that.
It might be.
I think that's what it was.
The DOGE team just discovered this week. Now, this just broke. I mean, within an hour or two that we started recording, okay?
Right.
The DOGE team just discovered that FEMA sent $59 million last week to luxury hotels in New York City to house illegals.
Well, I knew they were housing them, but they're still doing it?
Yeah. This was 15. Get this straight, folks. Listen to me clearly.
Good grief.
$59 million just last week. Now, this violated the law because President Trump said no more spending. His executive order said stop spending.
Yeah.
They did it anyway. So this money that was meant for American disaster relief, it was then through FEMA. Well, it just got put over to taking care of these luxury hotels.
Follow the money.
Follow the money. October 2024, the crazy clown woman that was Biden's press secretary said there's no FEMA funds are being diverted for illegals. Mm-hmm. Well, guess what, folks? You were lied to once again. Yeah. But right before we go to break, Randy, isn't it good to know that you and I are so right on this podcast?
Why, sure.
Our test may have been handed back face down.
And with all of the research and the staffing that we have here.
I'm feeling pretty good about myself.
We can just, compliment this to the staff and the research department.
Yeah. If we can find them, we will.
Let's go to break.
Let's go to break.
When your event is catered by Bobby's Country Cooking, it's like coming home to eat. And Bobby's makes it easy. 224-9500 for the best home-style catering available with desserts to die for. The food you love for your next gathering. Bobby's Country Cooking, Little Rock.
All right, folks, we're back. And I got to tell you, I'm pretty excited because of the fact that we are so right. Here's Thomas Massey, a Republican from Kentucky, okay?
Okay.
He says, it's time to end all foreign aid and stop funding wars between other countries. Now, how many shows ago did I say something really crazy and wild that people probably disagreed with?
Right.
Said, stop all the money from going outside the country. Mm-hmm. We, the people, deserve all of it spent to us. Stop all foreign aid.
Right.
Well, Thomas Massey must have listened to our podcast.
Sure, I'm sure he did.
Once again, we're right. Now, here we go. Zelensky admits he did not receive over $1 billion of our tax dollars. He doesn't know where the money's at.
Oh, my.
Now, I kind of remember a podcast that talked about, is this a money laundering machine?
Yeah, that's right.
Or is it a real war?
Good grief. That was probably show like 3 or 4.
Oh, Larry, he's nuttier than a fruitcake. I'm dumber than dirt, people. And all of a sudden, I'm right. I might ride the short bus to school, but dang, I'm right one more time. Over $100 billion can't be found. Okay? Now, so are we talking? He was supposed to get $177 billion and only got $75 billion. Another report says.
My goodness.
Folks, I've got to remind you, Randy, this is our tax dollars.
That's right.
And we're using million and billion like we're saying, oh, it's just a few bucks.
Yeah.
Just a few bucks.
Yeah.
Last week, we sent a check for $59 million or billion, whatever it was. I'm so confused, I'm dizzy here.
I think the American people have seen what's going on. They've listened to you in the show months ago, and they voted and they spoke.
Yeah.
And God help us, but it's got to be a turn. It's got to be the turn. And we're only 3 weeks into it.
And this is only our 28th show that we're sitting here recording.
Right.
And look at how many times we're right more than we're not. In fact, I don't know of anything that we've said so far that we're wrong.
Well, no. I wouldn't go that far, Larry.
Well, okay, I'll just personalize it. I haven't said anything wrong. Hey, here's one. Samantha Power. A lot of you may or may not know her, but she's the ex-USAID chief. She is so whiny about that the agency staff was over 10,000 people, and we're going to drive it down to 300 employees. Her and Cooper, they were whining about everything and all. And they were on there, and they want to sell everybody on this money for USAID is for humanitarian purposes.
Mm-hmm. Right,
okay?
Right.
It is not, ladies and gentlemen. This is a slush fund that people like Biden and Hussein and Clinton and all of these evil empire people
that's
can
what
sit
they
there
use
and,
it for.
Yeah, and blackmail the entire world. Now, here's something that I found. Now, again, Samantha Powers is the ex-USAID chief. Her net worth skyrocketed from $6.7 million to 30 million within 3 years.
Of course.
Now, her salary is only $180,000. So my question, Randy, is where did the extra $23.3 million come from in just 3 years? Mm-hmm. Now, she oversees billions in global funding. So was she in there cashing in?
Follow the money.
We, the people, deserve the answers.
We do.
We really do. Okay, let me bring him up because you're going to love Senator John Kennedy on Elon Musk and DOGE. He said, I'll tell you what Mr. Musk discovered. I find it fascinating. Now, I'm going to run through a whole bunch of stuff here, and you just jump in wherever you want, and we'll go along for the ride. He says, and I'm quoting Senator John Kennedy.
Love him.
I do too. You've really got me turned on to him. He discovered the American taxpayers are giving money to Afghanistan. He found that we are giving money to Yemen. He found out we are giving money to Syria. He found that USAID has 10,000 employees, and every year they give away $40 billion. Mm-hmm. Now, that's your tax dollars, folks. They gave money to support electric vehicles in Vietnam.
Yep.
Randy, have you ever been to Vietnam?
Nope.
I have. Let me tell you something. Carol and I went to Vietnam on a missions trip with our church, and it's the only place in the world that I've ever seen a bicycle on a dirt road, okay?
All right.
A bicycle on a dirt road that had a family of 5 to 6 people on one bike.
On the bike.
They stacked on top of one another. I probably have pictures. I need to get those out and see if I've got pictures of those.
Yeah.
It was the most amazing thing we've ever seen. There are circus people that couldn't have done what they did. And they're driving down the street. And there are no lines. There are no curbs. People are going past one another, going in all different directions.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
And if you think, and Vietnam, they barely had enough electricity for our hotel room. Okay?
Yeah.
We weren't even allowed out on the streets at night.
Wow.
We were taken to a dining area, and they said, follow, and they had armed guards.
Oh, my.
Literally, we walked between armed guards, got back into our rooms, and they said, lock the door, stay there, and do not answer it for anyone.
Wow.
We heard gunfire all through the night. It was unbelievable. It was horrible.
What city was that in? Do you know?
Phnom Penh.
Was it?
Mm-hmm.
Dang.
Yeah. Went to the killing fields and all of that. Oh, it was horrible. But if you think that we sent money to Vietnam to support electric vehicles.
Didn't happen.
Didn't happen.
No.
We funded a transgender clinic in India. We gave $1.5 million to Siberian LGBTQ group. We gave $164 million to support radical organizations around the world. Again, I'm quoting Mr. Kennedy. $122 million of that to groups aligned with foreign terrorist organizations. can I just say enemies of America?
Yeah.
And yet our taxpayer,
We're giving it to them.
Yeah, we the people.
Right.
We're paying all these ridiculous taxes.
Right.
Ridiculous. 30, 40% taxes. If you're self-employed, you're paying probably 50% in taxes.
Mm-hmm.
Why should the federal government of any country, I don't care if you have half a brain, that it doesn't make sense to you, to me. They're giving away millions of dollars to organizations in Gaza controlled by Hamas. $2 million for sex changes in Guatemala.
Yeah, I saw that.
Get this one. $20 million to produce a new Sesame Street show in Iraq.
I saw that one. Yeah.
Could we have not sent them, the old shows?
The old shows and just
AI?
change the caption on the bottom. AI could have changed it.
AI could have changed it. My gosh. $4.5 million of taxpayer money to combat misinformation for Kazakhstan.
Yeah, and they're complaining that all these people, like I said a while ago, all these people that were doing that are now out of jobs.
Yeah.
That's what they're complaining. Like, oh, well, now you just caused all these people that were doing all these things that he just said to lose their jobs.
Well, I told you before,
Boo-hoo.
the only reason that I'm on Reddit is because I can watch all the flaming liberals get on there and they just whine.
Right.
And, they were whining. Somebody here in Little Rock got on there and said because of Trump and because of all of these cuts and everything, one of my friends is losing their job, blah, blah, blah. Well, oh well. He found that we gave $10 million, get this, $10 million for meals to an Al-Qaeda linked terrorist group, $7.9 million to a bunch of Sri Lanka journalists to avoid binary gendered language. Here is $1.5 million to promote LGBT advocacy in Jamaica. $1.5 million to rebuild the Cuban media ecosystem.
Yeah.
I mean, the list can go on
Yeah.
and on and
I saw
on
that
and
clip.
on.
I saw that clip of him.
Oh,
you
my
can see It. You can
gosh.
see it on YouTube. Just go there and search it, and it'll show it.
Okay, here's one for you, for all of you people that love to talk about drug, illegal drugs on the street. Hundreds of millions of dollars went to fund irrigation canals, farming equipment, fertilizer, used to support poppy cultivation and heroin production in Afghanistan, benefiting the Taliban.
Why, sure.
Now, does that sound like Americans that our government is really against drug abuse and drug trafficking? Now, John Kennedy also went on to say the people who are screaming about President Trump and Musk audits of the federal government are the same people who hired 80,000 new IRS auditors to audit you.
Right.
The only other thing, and I'll wrap up with this, everybody is kind of giving Musk some real heartache about the young geniuses. Mm-hmm. Some of the people that he's using, he says they're probably, I think he said 19 to 24 years old.
Right.
Well, one of the geniuses that he's using that is a college senior, his name is Luke. He won $250,000 for designing an AI program to decode an ancient scroll last year, and now he's working for DOGE at 120 hours a week.
My goodness.
He's brilliant. Now, I will only say this, and then we'll close. The aging founders of our country in 1776, a lot of them were teenagers.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And so Benjamin Franklin was age 70, and he's one of the oldest ones. These are the founding fathers that signed the Declaration of Independence. Okay.
Uh-huh.
So the only question I would have to wrap up is, What's the minimum age? Do you know the minimum age to serve in our armed forces?
Well, I thought it was 18.
That's what I'm thinking.
But I know, and we're going to have my uncle on.
Okay.
And it was during, the World War II.
Yeah.
Pearl Harbor.
Right.
When Pearl Harbor happened, it was 17.
Mm-hmm.
And he lied about his age. He was 16.
Yeah.
And he went into the Marines when he was 16 years old, lied about it. So it was 17. I think it may be 18 now.
Yeah.
But it was 17 at Pearl Harbor.
Okay, so here's my point. My point is we'll put a rifle in the hand of an 18-year-old and send them off for war.
Right.
And not care whether they get killed or not. And yet all the liberals, the bleeding heart liberals, are complaining because Elon is using young people, brilliant people like himself.
Yeah.
Okay? I mean, they could be on our podcast. They're so smart.
I know. Yeah.
Well, folks, I hope you enjoyed tonight's show. I certainly did. Come back next week. Be sure and like and subscribe and share with all of your friends and family. Let them know about our podcast.